Breitweiser joins us, and he has written really, truly work that is inspirational. So the title of all of this collective work is Inspiration of Time, and it is poems that are truly inspiring. And he has such an interesting story to tell and to share with everybody, and it will lift you up, no question about it. He's in our virtual green room. Charles, thanks so much for coming on.
Hi, Kate. It's great to be here.
So let's tell the audience what led you to creating Inspiration of Time and pulling all your poems and whatnot together.
Well, I was just a boy in high school, 1979, a senior in high school, and I was driving a clunker of an old car, and the tie rod broke, and I lost control of the wheel, went off the side of the road and hit a tree. I was actually dead on arrival. And I don't know how they were able to get my heart started again. But then I went into a complete coma, and they never thought I was going to come out of it. 6 months later, that's when the real hard work started. I had to relearn how to walk, how to talk, how to dress, even how to use the bathroom. And after all that, I still have physical limits in my left arm and left leg. But that process of growing is what was really difficult for me. I used to play the drums. I was a football player. I even had my own car repair business. I was a very physically active young man. I had the world at my feet and my life was over. I felt like, oh man, I hated the world. I was mad at everyone, everything. I felt like I was a loser, only half a man, because I could not use my left arm or leg at the time. All I had was a right arm and right leg that was working. And I was just mad at the world. I had a terrible attitude. I'm glad you didn't know me then. I was a miserable person. I was mad at the world. A lot of people going around mad at the world today.
Boy, that's true, isn't it? So how did you turn it around?
I didn't do it. God did it. In my sleep one night, he spoke to my heart. He gave me a poem called My New Attitude, and that poem completely changed my life and gave me focus. It was God telling me to use my suffering as a way to help other people who are suffering in life. Would you like to hear my new attitude real quick?
I want to hear your new attitude, yes.
Even though I'm physically battered, my soul and mind is still strong. Long as I know that it never really mattered if they thought the body's the song. They are the men and the women I meet who just don't understand that the body is only a tool for the mind. It's the mind that makes the man. I wish that they could realize the many things I do, and then they'd start to recognize the strength within me too. But the physical self, no matter how fine, gets old and withers away. But my soul and my mind are immune to time, and what I got is here to stay.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And you and I both have in common, we grew up in New Jersey. We saw what happened 9/11 wise to so many people. And one of the poems that you wrote about is so particularly so important now. And I think it always is to remember. And it just really struck me. You did it for me. Will you tell everybody about that poem and do that for us?
Okay. It's called Melissa's Daddy. I was motivated. It came to me in my sleep almost exactly to the year's anniversary of September 11th. It was November 2002. I remember. And it's called Melissa's Daddy. Daddy isn't coming home anymore because he used to work on 110th floor. He wasn't a fireman or a policeman, just an office worker, just a mailman. I'm sure he would have saved someone else if he could, but he just went to work like a good daddy should. He was one of the many that nobody knew, but I want you to know he was my hero too. I remember when he used to come home through that door, I'd run to his arms from across the floor. He gathered me up into his arms as I flew, but I want you to know he was a hero too. This is for all the children who still have hugs to give, the parents that love them and no longer live. And to the mommies and daddies that nobody knew, but I want you to know they are all heroes too.
Well done. Well done, because we certainly know that there's so much loss and so many people that still go through really, really, really hard times like you talked about in the beginning. So what inspires your poems? I know that that God feeds that, but when you look around, you have such a positive attitude. What is it that inspires you? What else inspires you?
Other people. If I see someone really down and out, somebody suffering, or whatever it may be, you can tell the emotional pain that someone's going through in their attitude, their expressions. But I talk to them, complete strangers. Come here, I got something to tell you. Come here. We've all had pain, loss, and sorrow. Don't live in the past, live for tomorrow. Yesterday's gone, its lessons are learned. Remember the past so you don't get burned. Living in pain and living in sorrows, like having a personal museum of horror. Attitude's a choice, take your pick. Would you rather feel good or rather feel sick? Be like a steel peg cemented into the ground, steadfast no matter what comes around. Measure your mettle by the pain you can take. No matter what life throws at you, you will not break. Kicking and fighting, you will survive. Feel the power of being alive.
Ah, wonderful. And again, it's that theme of the now, the theme of not getting in your head and thinking about the things that you don't have or the things that happen to you or any of that. For you, in putting the book together, Inspiration of Time, what was that like to have it actually published and to see all your work in a book?
Oh, it was very exciting. And what was more exciting was when it won the Editor's Choice Award from the International Library of Poetry in 2005. See, the first edition of this book came out in 2004.
Wow.
But in 2005, 2015 is the newest edition, the second edition. And there's a little more in it than there was in the first edition.
I love that. Congratulations on that award. So, and we said it already, but I think it's worth repeating. And you can get Charles Breitweiser's book, of course, of this inspiring poetry on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. And again, Charles, tell us, what's your message to the people out there who are listening to the show, who have their ups and downs and their trials and tribulations of life?
Okay, well, you can't rely on yourself and you can't depend on anyone else. The only thing you actually have control over is your attitude. Be an actor, not a reactor. Whatever happens, I can take it. Toughen up. I'm no quitter. I think people give up on themselves too easily. And trust in Jesus Christ, who will bring you through it. I don't write these poems. God writes them in my heart. That's why I'm not actually reading them. They're written in my heart. So I don't have to struggle to memorize it. All these poems roll right off of my tongue because they're in my heart. God does it. I am just the paintbrush. I give all the glory to Jesus Christ. This is not about me, it's about him. God's greatness. Trust in the Lord, and you don't know what doors he will open for you.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true that you you are reciting this or knowing these poems from heart. So as you said, it comes from the heart and it's inside you, because I'm seeing Charles and he's not reading it. He knows it. And what a gift to you, by the way, that these are in your soul and that you wake up and you have these ideas and you're able to put them together. So congratulations on that. That really is a gift.
Well, thank you. To get a copy of Inspiration of Time, go to my website, inspirationoftime.com. and click on the poetry tab, you'll see some poems that are not in the book. And also, you can click on the contact tab, because I'd like to hear from the people who bought my book, or maybe you'd like to have me for an interview. Inspirationoftime.com.
There's just no question. And again, it's powerful. I think his words, and I know that people struggle, and he's right, that people don't give themselves enough credit and we beat ourselves up too much. That's for sure. So I thought it was really wonderful to have Charles on the show. Charles Breitweiser, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Kate.
And thanks to all of you for listening to the show. And remember to make it count, everybody. I so love the attitude and the positivity of Charles Breitweiser. I mean, geez, listening to him, you got to think about his story. So his story is where he said he was almost killed as a 17-year-old high school senior. Imagine that you're a senior, you got everything going for you, you got the world by its tail, so to speak, and then you're basically killed in a car accident. And the paramedics help and your heart begins to beat again. And then life is never the same. Like he described, a 6-month coma, the loss of, the use of your left arm and your leg, and impaired vision, and realizing at such a young age, this is what life has thrown at you. And he said this, there was years of depression, there's self-pity and loathing, and then he found God, and he found poetry and that inspiration that just was filled inside him. It was wild to listen, and you heard him recite a couple of things, how he knew it. So often people, because we have so much going on in our heads, people read, even though they know it and they can do it with passion, they don't know it by heart. They read it. They read it from their book, or they read it from paper they have in their hands or whatever. But he knew it. He knew what he had to say. So he really learned how to turn tragedy into triumph with a poetic philosophy that can help other people overcome tragedies. Because that's the thing, when you get slapped down, how do you pull yourself up? What is it that motivates you, empowers you? What is it that will speak to you